Hi everyone, this is the third and last part of my three-part sequence on production and cost. In the first two recordings, we introduced the short-run analysis of production and cost. This video covers how economists analyze these concepts in the long run. Recall from the first recording that the short run is the time period in which managers can change the amount of workers, but the number of machines must stay the same. As such, we associated variable cost with the cost of workers and fixed cost with the cost of machines. In the long run, we allow the manager to change both the amount of workers and the number of machines. In other words, both the cost of labor and the cost of capital are variable in the long run. Indeed, there is no such thing as fixed costs in the long run. Recall from the second recording that the average total cost curve in the short run was U-shaped, with its minimum point where it intersected with the marginal cost curve. Since nothing is fixed in the long run, there is no longer a need to distinguish between average total cost, average variable cost, or average fixed cost. So we refer to average cost in the long run as simply long run average cost. So how might we graph the long run average cost curve? Well, first we must now consider that the manager can decide not only how many workers to hire, but also how many machines to install in the production line. The differing values of workers leads to each short-run average total cost, or SATC curve, being U-shaped, whereas each value of capital leads to a separate short-run average total cost curve. An increase in the quantity of capital leads to a new short-run average total cost curve that is shifted to the right. For example, if Rocket Joe's only has one pizza oven like we assumed in the previous recordings, then the short-run average total cost curve can be illustrated as SATC1. However, if Rocket Joe's acquires a second pizza oven, something that it couldn't do in the short run, now the average total cost curve would be shifted to the right of the initial average total cost curve. This is because the higher fixed cost associated with two pizza ovens is initially spread over small quantities, leading to a higher average total cost. However, the advantage of two pizza ovens is that now Rocket Joe's could produce more pizzas than they could with only one oven, so larger quantities are now possible. Based on this figure, a manager that wants to target a quantity amount between 0 and Q1 pizzas would elect to have one pizza oven. Whereas average cost would be lowest with two pizza ovens if the manager determines the target quantity amount to be between Q1 and Q2. We could then extend this logic if the pizza restaurant were to purchase a third or even a fourth pizza oven. The long-run average cost, or LRAC curve, is the result of the lowest short-run average total cost for each and every quantity amount and is represented by the blue line. Economists refer to the downward sloping portion of the long-run average cost curve as economies of scale. This means that the firm is able to lower its costs by producing more. On the other hand, the upward sloping portion of the long-run average cost curve is referred to as diseconomies of scale. This means that the company experiences higher cost as it ramps up production. This is a screenshot of a graph in the textbook that illustrates the general shape of the long-run average cost curve. In the real world, Rocket Joe's could experience economies of scale if they were able to negotiate lower prices for their ingredients and pizza toppings from their vendors. However, the pizza restaurant could experience diseconomies of scale if the workforce becomes less productive, either because they are overstaffed or simply unmotivated. Now that you're done with the three-part sequence, I encourage you to review the practice problems that I provided on Moodle to make sure that you fully understand the concepts introduced in these recordings. Remember that I also provide the solutions to these ungraded practice problems and that the purpose of these exercises is to give you an idea of the types of questions you might see on the final exam. As always, feel free to email me if you have any questions.